the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Minutes are approved. We will move on to open forum. We have quite the agenda tonight, you'll see. We'll start with welcoming up representatives from the Wellness Center and Rabbit Ride, Sherry Landmark and Mariah Weber.
We're a little old school. We gave her a flash drive to use tonight.
I said maybe I think it kind of signifies our age.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here. We really do enjoy meeting with all of you. I'm Sherry Landmark. I'm the Chief Wellness Officer at SDSU.
I'm Mariah Weber. I'm the Director of Recreation and Fitness at the Miller Wellness Center.
So go ahead. Well, today we're going to be presenting on the Student Health Clinic, Counseling Center, Recreation and Fitness, as well as University Wellbeing. So first, just looking at the GAF and how GAF supports the Student Health Clinic and Counseling Center. We have salaries and benefits, which has the director and 8 clinicians and 7 counselors. We also have interns that are unpaid. You know, that happens with interns, right? It's about the experience. We have a software, Medicat, that we use, which is our electric health records, or EHR, we call it. We have contracts, which we have an Averadoc that comes and consults with us. And we also have our clinic, our Brookings lab, that maybe if we have testing that's kind of questionable, we'll send out to the Brookings Health Systems and they'll test some things for our lab. We work with the South Dakota Department of Health, as well as Avel eCare, which is our emergency on-call, which is usually only, it's only, I'm trying to think, called on by UPD during a crisis situation, and that's about $8,300 a year. We also have our telemed counseling, You Will. We will be changing that this next year to Better Mind, knock on wood. Hopefully we'll get that passed through IT, but VP Overby is very supportive of that. And we really like that model. If you check a little bit about it, and I could even come present a whole time on that, it was started before the pandemic by a student in 2013 that was struggling with mental health. So this wasn't, it's 2020. We're going to make a buck on people that have mental health. I had supper with this young man, or I shouldn't say young man anymore, during a NASPA conference a couple weeks ago, and they are just so passionate about helping others, and we're really excited about it. The other thing, it really fits more with our standard of care, which a normal counseling session is 50 minutes, where our current model is only 30 minutes. So if you think of even just sitting down and having a conversation with someone at Starbucks that you've never met before and really trying to get to know them in 30 minutes, it doesn't happen. So we really felt that this model also, with that standard of care and really the true compassion that they have, will really help with our students. LPC supervision is licensed practitioner counselor, or professional counselor, and we do have a supervisor that we work with in Sioux Falls to help with the counselors get certified, those that are not. Of course, your annual inspections with machines, medical and supplies, and counseling supplies that we use, and then of course professional development. You can see the breakdown of the 404 we get for those 2 areas. So do we want to wait for questions at the end, or does anyone have questions right now? If something comes up, oh gosh, if something comes up, just shout. Oh, I sure do. All right, some celebrations. We have the Student Health Clinic. We did add walk-in Wednesdays this last year. It's turned out very well. We are up about 8.2 visits in the clinic. We are exploring a psych CMP to come in and help with more of those mental health needs, which we think is really going to be helpful. Our MRI, our MRR compliance, which is measles, mumps, and rubella, MMR, we were 100% compliant. It is something that is an entire university. We have the records office, we have all sorts of people across even the state of South Dakota, West River Nursing, helping us make sure that we're compliant with our MRI or MMR. I don't know why I say MRI. And we did host immunization clinic in the clinic, which just had open times for students to come in and get their flu vaccine, which worked out very well. Counseling center, still no wait list, which we're really excited about. We're using that step care model and it's been working awesome. We've also done a lot of campus collaboration outreach, going into classrooms, being just visible in the student union here or in the spine of the wellness center. We've had group sessions, which haven't usually taken off, but they are this year. We're really excited about that as well. We've had 5 counselors train in QPR, question, persuade, and refer training that we can come and teach or instruct a class or anyone that wants to have that training. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to sunset UWill, but have a new platform, Better Mind. So that is kind of our celebrations and things that we are excited that has happened this last year with student health and counseling.
All right, I will run through our fitness and recreation, just what GAF supports as well as some celebrations. So GAF on the fitness and rec side covers our salaries and our benefits for our full-time staff. So we do have 5 professional staff, we have 4 grad assistants, and then we have 2 employees that work within University Wellbeing, which is kind of Sherry's area, but they are housed within our office. All the salaries for our student workers, we have about 100 student employees within the Wellness Center, everything from lifeguards to water safety instructors, group fitness instructors, member services attendants. Custodians and supplies, we have some full-time custodians in our facility, as well as a maintenance worker, and then all of the supplies through custodial. Equipment purchases and repairs, all of our utilities, our athletic pool agreement. We do share our pool with athletics, so we do pay them a chunk of change every year to be able to utilize that and have it be open for our members and our students. M&R is about 2% of the building, and then we have some ACR as well. So you can see the GAF breakdown over there on the right with group fitness, operating, intramurals, and sport clubs, and then just a GAF breakdown of our building bonds. Okay, so some fitness and recreation celebrations. It's very busy in our facility. I'm just giving you some numbers here. In FY24 as compared to 25, FY24 we had 360 visits, or 360,000 visits, excuse me. FY25 we're already, and this is compared to March to basically February, or I guess April to March, and then again for FY25, about 400,000 visits. So we are up this year. Sport clubs, we have 13 clubs with 320 participants, which are registered in Jack's Club Hub. Group fitness is very busy. We have record high participation. We have about 10,000, a little over 10,000 registrations in fall of 24, and this is an increase of 39% from fall of 23. First week of spring semester, we had almost, we had 971 registered for 47 fitness classes. So our group fitness is very busy. We have to actually, throughout the semester, we had to add some group fitness classes, hire some instructors because the demand is there, and we want to make sure that we're putting in as many classes as we can to make sure that students are able to participate. You can see intramurals, FY25 participation, and then of course, spring of 25, we had 6 sport club offerings and 10 one-day tournaments. And then just some summer projects that we're planning. We're gonna take esports from the lower level of the Enrollment Services Center, and we're gonna bring it over to the Wellness Center just to give that visibility. So that's really exciting. We are taking what was the pharmacy, and that's gonna be the new esports space. So we're renovating that currently, and hopefully we'll have that ready this summer, and then of course launching it as, you know, fully open in the fall. Just some new equipment that we're purchasing. We put in some ceiling fans in one of our studios. We added an extender to one of our larger machines. We're going to purchase some new spin bikes. So just some different things that we're needing throughout the facility. And then our plan is to resurface our courts this summer. Okay, so I'll roll right into Rabbit Ride. We'll finish up with University Wellbeing, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. So I do oversee Rabbit Ride. I've kind of had the project during my time on campus, so I've basically overseen it for probably about 15 years now. It's just kind of become part of my life. But Rabbit Ride provides a safe method of transportation to anybody that is impaired, and it can be people that are not drinking, anybody who wants a safe ride home, wants to get from point A to point B, or doesn't want to ride with somebody who's been drinking. So we do operate on Friday and Saturday evenings. And on an average weekend, we transport about 650 riders. So last I checked, which was last week, we had a little over 18,000 riders so far this year alone. Typical year, I want to say can range anywhere from 14,000 all the way up to maybe 22. So we're definitely right on track to probably be at that 22,000 this year, which is just showing the demand and the need for rides. So really, it's one of those things where you don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing to have that many riders, but the service is on campus, and as long as people are utilizing it, we are going to continue to apply for grant funding. So Students Association does provide the financial support for the monitor wages. So monitors are students who sit on the bus and they make sure that the driver is not distracted. We do contract with Beta. Beta basically operates the project or operates Rabbit Ride. We're basically paying them to operate Rabbit Ride. So they supply the buses, the drivers, the fuel, and then I employ the monitors on the campus side. And then I secure all of the grant funding as well. So it is a grant through the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, and I do apply for it every spring. So it's actually coming up here in April, and then the fiscal year is a little bit different. It starts in October. So we'll know kind of going forward what we're looking at as far as what we can run, but really what we can do with Rabbit Ride is all contingent on how much we get from the grant, as well as what Beta is able to operate, because sometimes it's really hard to find drivers. And on the flip side, it's also sometimes hard to find monitors. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Sherry to finish up with University Wellbeing.
So University Wellbeing was created with some reorganization with Student Association. Wow, I am just not in it tonight. Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. But we really have worked hard. It's kind of a shop of two for full-time people, but then we have really collaborated across campus, and we couldn't do it without everyone across campus. We have launched last fall a presentation request form, which has been really great. We've been able to reach over 2,500 students and faculty and staff. This spring has been really a focus on faculty and staff, just getting into the classroom or getting into meetings so they understand how we can help them to help the students be successful. Kind of like that oxygen mask analogy, like you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And we're really seeing students coming to their professors or advisors and asking for help, and they're wondering, what do I do? So we're helping them give some tools and resources, which has been really great. It shows some of the presentation requests that we do, but we can also customize anything that you would like. The State of Wellbeing podcast has also been a collaboration across campus with students, faculty, even some people in the community. Right now we have, well, a few weeks ago we had about 38 topics out there. I think we have a few more now, and about 1,700 downloads. And they all kind of match in with our dimensions of wellness there on the right-hand side. We really have tried to fit kind of a couple podcasts within each of those dimensions to really help. We do have a cash course, which is financial literacy. And that is something that we haven't really pushed a lot, but we're hoping to push a little more this next year. And that is a free platform for students. You can go on our website, log in. There's some really great things on there, whether it's, you're just, you're gonna live off campus maybe next year. What does rent look like? Do I need renter's insurance? What about when I graduate? What is a 401k? All those questions. How do I pay for my car insurance? What does that look like? So it's some really, really great information. It's a little overwhelming, but they are going to have a 2.0 coming out here in June. So that's when we're going to kind of wait here to really launch that here this next fall. Some systematic changes. We created sensory-friendly hours in the Miller Wellness Center. So from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., we have the music off. So for people that want to come in and have a little more quiet time in areas. Of course, we have the tobacco-free campus with both Mariah and I helped spearhead that many years ago to create that tobacco-free campus, and we are looking at just revamping that a little bit with the vaping here this next year, and really talking with faculty and staff of, I have a daughter that's a junior here, and she was so mad when I said, you know what, I really encouraged one of the deans to have their assignments not due at midnight, maybe have them due at 5 p.m. because, yeah, look at some of you. I'm not going to tell you what dean I talked to because then you'll really get after me. But and she's like, Mom, why would you do that? I'm like, well, we're talking about sleep and all of this. You need to not be up all night studying. Oh, she did not have it. But one department is actually encouraging their faculty to do that. So if you have maybe one that has changed that a little bit, but really looking at some of those changes for us all. And really, you still have to do the work. So do it the day before. I don't know. But anyways, those are some things that we're working on. And of course, Jack's covered a big supporter of that and hoping with that. And then this last year, the Aunt Flo initiative and the implementation, which has been great. We just reordered and re-upped for this next year, which we have a dispenser in the spine of the Miller Wellness Center for period products for people that would, or students that would like to use that or need to use that. So, and I just want to say thank you so much, Trinity and Hayden. I know we have a few more meetings with you left, but you have been amazing. And Grace, Matt, I mean, you really have. And we do appreciate you listening to us and our needs, but I hope that you feel like we've listened to what you want as students, and you just need to be open with us and let us know what you need. And you know, we can't always maybe do what you want for financial reasons or just, you know, time. Things take time, but we don't know what we don't know. And we're here. We want to make sure you're successful as students. And the only way that can happen is if you can communicate with us and sit down and have meetings. So I do say my door is always open. It's most of the time open. I'm in the hallway of the Miller Wellness Center, and if my door is cracked, that means come on in. I really do mean that. So thank you so much for supporting us and all the other students on campus and through advisory committees. It really does mean a lot to us. So thank you. And does anyone have any questions as I clap the microphone here? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Have a great night. And thanks for rescheduling from last week.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Sherry Mariah, for being flexible. We did ask them to push to this week so we could all go watch the basketball game. But all right. We'll move on to open forum. Item B, for our next open forum speaker, we will welcome up Brianna Durant from Brookings City Council.
Hello, everyone. Okay, great to be back. I did make some notes and got some updates on the projects that we talked about last time that I didn't have all the information about. So I appreciate your patience in letting me dig up some more of those updates. The first is about the Campanile Flats that were asked about, looking at the timeline and if the properties were purchased. So this is a project that it's actually 2 apartment complexes that are just a little bit by SDSU campus. It's within 3 blocks. The first complex is called Latitude 44. That is going to be built on the vacant lot between Lofts at Park Hill, which is where like the apartments and Blue Salon is, and then the 6th Street Center, which you might know of like the apartments in Jimmy John's. And so Latitude 44 is going to be there, and then Campanile Flats is going, or Paragon, which the building might be called, is going to be located on Campanile Avenue north of Bankstar Financial. So those 2 projects are being worked on right now. It's going to total about 199 units. They're looking at studios and efficiencies as well as 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom. For the timeline, the Campanile Flats will be done by midsummer 2026, so next summer. They're looking at starting construction this summer. Looks like the Latitude 44 is looking at a similar timeline as well. A note with Latitude 44 is they're also looking at a potential pub and grill. And with these 2 projects, the hopeful outcome is to attract some more local food options too, close to campus. For rent, if you're interested in it, it hasn't been determined yet. James Drew, the president of Clark Drew Construction, who is building both of these projects, said that it would be in line with market rates. So once those get under construction and get going, hopefully some rates will be issued. For the water tower, the plan to bring it down is they're looking at next summer, so summer of 2026. They have to still move all of the telecommunications equipment over to the new site that we talked about. And then as for the plans in the area afterwards, it's still in discussion. There haven't been any concrete plans made for that area. And then for the roundabout by the foundation, so this was a concept that I remembered from a couple different plans and discussions throughout the years. I did remember that we did apply for about a $3.8 million grant in 2023 to try to bring that roundabout to the community. Unfortunately, this project still remains a concept, so we're looking at other grant funding that may open up to bring that project to fruition, but at this moment, it still is just a concept. Okay, so now a couple other updates. The first is that we do have an open seat on City Council. So Andrew Rasmussen, who was my ex officio with me, he resigned for a job that was out of Brookings. So because it was within 60 days of the election, by state law, we opened it up for a one-year appointment. This is done by an application process, and then you have a public presentation in front of City Council, and then we vote on that. If any of you are interested, the applications are due this Friday at 5 p.m. You can pick them up at the City County Government Building. I went through the appointment process as well and a few others, so if you have any questions about what that looks like, let me know. Let's see, yard waste collection. I know that we're supposed to get some snow this week, but for those who maybe are renting a house or you're looking at cleaning up some property, the yard waste seasonal collection will restart on April 1st. So just a reminder that that's where you can put flowers, weeds, grass clippings, vines, small twigs, and leaves in there. Otherwise, you can visit the Citizens Campus at the landfill. And with that, we're also doing the spring bulky item pickup. So that's where when you're driving around town and you see the items on the curbs, we'll be starting that. The first day is Wednesday, April 9th, and the last day to put items out on your curb is Sunday, April 13th. After that, you do get free dumping for city residents at the landfill. You just bring a photo ID or some sort of bill that says that you are a resident of the city so that you can have that free dumping. And loads must be covered, so be sure to do that. We also have an election coming up. I've talked about this a couple of times. So early voting has started. You can do that from 8 to 5 at the City County Government Building downtown. Otherwise, election day is Tuesday, April 8th. On the ballot, it is 2 school board positions, 2 city council positions, and language update for our city charter, our governing document. If you want to know more information about the candidates or just about the language update, you can find some videos from forums that the Chamber did just on YouTube. You can just search City of Brookings Candidate Forum or the Chamber of Brookings. For this year, if you vote, you'll also notice that you get some 2 stickers. So we had a competition within the school district for the youth of the community where they could design some I voted stickers, and they are super cute. I love them so much. I love getting the youth involved. So you can find those on our Facebook page, and then you can grab your own when you vote. Otherwise, just a couple other updates for Parks and Rec. So you may have recently seen that in collaboration with the school district and the county, we've launched an initiative to acquire the 5th Street Gym location downtown. So we are going to create that as a dedicated community recreation facility. We're looking at having just consistent, reliable gym space for leagues, camps, activities. So if you're part of an intramural team here, if you want to do some practice downtown, you can. We're expanding programs like pickleball, volleyball, basketball, all of the above. We are also looking at renovating our skate park. Currently, it's located by the Brookings High School. So if you have any ideas of what you would want in a community skate park, you can email myself or City Council or our Parks and Rec Director, and you can find all of that on our website. We also are opening up summer job opportunities or internships. So if you're looking for something for the summer, check out our City of Brookings-sd.gov/careers website. And then a quick update on downtown, since I know we talked about that last time too. We have formed a committee with some city staff and then the property owners and business owners. They meet monthly. So the last update that I gave is still the most current update. We will be getting a new update at our next city council meeting. So you can just get that in the newspaper or watch our city council meeting for the new updates on how that's going. Otherwise, that's all that I brought to update you guys on. Any questions? All right, so I have one more request. So I'm also doing like a video series on how the city council engages with the public. One of them is ex officios. Would you guys mind if I took a selfie with all of you guys to use in the video? Okay, thank you. All right. I'm not that much older than you guys, but I'm gonna feel so old doing this. So I'm gonna try. Okay, if you don't want to be in the video or you don't want to be in the photo, just like pop to the side, or I'll put an emoji over your face if you don't want. I'm gonna try to get everyone. Where's the yeah, over here? Yeah, I do. I got the new iPhone finally. Okay, but how do you do it on the front facing camera?
You want me to hold it?
When I
Will
lose
that help?
Yeah, you're better.
Oh, yeah.
I got it. Yes, I love the multiple pictures too. Okay, there you go. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thanks so much, Brianna. All right, we'll move on to open forum item C, our student organization constitutions. And tonight we will begin by welcoming up representatives from the South Dakota Association for the Education of Young Children Club. Did you want me to go first?
Okay, hi, my name's Allie.
My name is Reese. I'm Aubrey.
I'm Molly.
And I'm Kay Cutler, their advisor.
Okay, so basically this club is all about promoting our major. So for those of you who don't know, ECE is the Early Childhood Education Program here in SDSU. A lot of you may know like the Fishback Center, that's kind of where we're at. But the reason we kind of wanted to start this club in the first place was to promote the ECE major. For a lot of us, these past few semesters, we felt like our major's kind of like dying in a sense. And so we want to create a club that promotes the idea of ECE and the importance of it. So yeah, that's kind of why we started this club and what it's all about. So just providing information about opportunities that ECE majors have, giving them relationships in the professional world, as well as campus and high schools, like so reach out or outreach to high school students to promote the major as well. And yeah, just getting the word about how important our major is to us. We just want to emphasize that our passion and how important it is to work with kids. So that's kind of why we're here.
Does anyone have any questions?
What kind of interest do you have so far? How many people are committed to participating?
So we held like a non-official meeting, and we had, I think, what was it? Probably how many? 20. We've also sent out a survey asking about possible interest in the club, and we've had quite a few responses. We still need to do a lot more outreach in that sense, but we're hoping once we get it official that we can be able to do that. So.
How many current ECE majors are there?
That might be a K question.
Close to 87.
I'll add too. So we have like, we don't call them cohorts, but kind of cohorts. So like each semester you go through kind of with the same amount of kids. And right now ours is 8. So to put that in perspective, that's kind of why we're here.
Additional questions?
Have you thought about what you might possibly be needing funding for and how you would potentially fundraise?
Yeah, we've had a few ideas. They're all like very rough. We do get, because we're associated with the national organization, we do get funding through that. So we kind of already have that. And then I know we talked about the student association, but we're not really banking on doing a lot of like spending. It's more just like providing opportunities and outreach within the community. So providing like teacher relationships as well as other student relationships just to build our program.
Any more questions? Thank you so much for joining us. right, can I entertain a motion to approve this constitution? Senator Markley. Senator Markley, first right to debate.
Yeah, as someone who goes back and forth to the Fishback Center every single day because of speech and debate, I see how hard those people work. I think it's a good idea to keep up a club. It's a nice, good way to engage with the students and also create traction for their major as well.
Further discussion? Senator Gibney.
Majority of the time of college is spent outside of the classroom, so I just want to commend all of you for starting this. I think this is a really good way to keep your major thriving.
Further discussion? Right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Derek Humford abstains, Duncan, Gibney,
Aye.
Hofer, Campson,
Aye.
Markley, Paudel, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Stein, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo, Vice President Benz.
The ayes have it, and the South Dakota Association for the Education of Young Children Club is approved. Right, we'll welcome up our next student organization. We'll welcome up representatives from the SDSU Concrete Industry Management Club.
The American Concrete Institution, or ACI, is a small group started by the concrete industry management major students. It is a educational club aimed to inform individuals about concrete and the concrete industry, since it is one of the major building materials that we use. You can just look around this room and you can see that there's concrete being used in it. We hope that by being officially recognized by the college, we can attract a wider audience to our club meetings and to spread awareness of concrete and the industry and its use in our everyday lives. Any questions?
Do you suspect a large overlap between members of the construction management club and this club? And would you advocate that there's a need for specialization between the two?
There's actually a lot of the classes that between the two of us, we've been trying to get more classes aligned. It helps out our instructors when we don't have excess number of classes. So that is actually one of the goals.
Additional questions? Okay, thank you for joining us. All right, can I entertain a motion to approve this club constitution? Senator Sternhagen. Senator Sternhagen, first right to debate.
I believe this is a wonderful club concerning a somewhat underlooked portion of the College of Engineering. So I'm very excited to see them come to fruition.
Further discussion on this constitution? Right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink,
Aye.
Derek Humford abstains, Duncan, Gibney,
Aye.
Hofer, Campson,
Aye.
Markley,
Aye.
Paudel, Peterson,
Aye.
Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Stein, Sternhagen,
Aye.
Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo, Vice President Benz.
The ayes have it, and the Concrete Industry Management ACI Club Constitution is approved. Right. We will go to our final student organization constitution of the night, and we will welcome up representative from the Collegiate Music Teachers Association.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna, and in all honesty, I wasn't prepared to speak tonight. I didn't really know what this was about, but I am a music education major, and I specialize in the piano. And in our piano studio, our professor decided that it'd be a good idea to create a club where we emphasize teaching others about the importance of music and how this skill can help others really find a passion and help add quality to their lives. So what makes this different than like a regular music teachers club, like compared to ones that's related directly towards like music education, is we have students that are pre-med and like mechanical engineers, and they're all involved in this club. And what we do is we focus on the development of how we can share, we focus on the development of music and how we can share our knowledge with others. And by doing this, we are creating different, like, we are having different programs, and we're bringing recognition to the community so we can just help raise awareness to what we have going on.
Anyone have any questions? Senator Hope?
Hi, so I'm just thinking, I appreciate how you differentiated, between yourselves and other organizations that focus on music educators. I know that my fiance is also a music education major, and he, is part of NAFME?
Yep.
Do you see yourselves working together with, collaborating with, these organizations in the future to do things like events or to help spread awareness about the importance of music and specifically music education?
Yeah, I do see us working together because we do have that main goal of teaching music to others. And even though NAFME is more specific on teaching in like a K through 12 setting, I think it would be a great way to kind of combine the two, because ours is more of like a private studio setting, but they're all very, very much related.
Rough numbers, how large will you be if this gets approved tonight?
We've been doing quite a bit of activities already, and we have about 14 people who are very interested.
I was just wondering along the lines of, would you have kind of like a private piano lesson kind of vibe, or would you do like group activities teaching other people music, or just be purely kind of presentation educational? That's just my.
It's more presentation / educational. We've had guest speakers come in and teach us about how to tune a piano, and we've had different opportunities for us to perform in the public. And so since we just started this year, we haven't really done much in terms of teaching others yet, but we're thinking maybe in the future we'll get to that point.
Do you guys have like ideas in place for outreach efforts, like how you'd reach other areas of campus that are not in your immediate bubble to try to get them to join?
We have not discussed that yet. We do have an Instagram page, and so that is one way that we're trying to promote our club. But this is related to a national organization called MTNA, Music Teachers National Association, and there's a fee to join that club. And so we were thinking, it just started in our piano studio, and so we haven't really discussed that yet, but.
There's no questions. Thanks so much for joining us, Jenna. Right, can I entertain a motion to approve this club constitution? Senator Gibney.
So moved.
Senator Gibney, first right to debate.
Life without music is food without taste. Anytime I hear that piano playing outside the Senate office, I take my earbuds out and soak it in. And if moving this brings more of that on campus, I'm for it.
Further discussion on this club constitution. Vice President Benz.
I just want to say what a unique idea this is. Music has meant a lot to my life. I really, really enjoy playing my trumpet. But also, I've had the joy of being able to teach music to others. I've given quite a few trumpet lessons during my time, and know the joy that teaching music can bring as well. So I think this is just such a wonderful idea, so unique. Thank you for bringing this forward.
Further discussion on this club constitution. All right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Dark-Comfort abstains. Duncan.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Hofer.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Paudel. Peterson. Pauls.
Aye.
Robbins. Michelle.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra. Spear. Stein.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant. Vasquez. Westler. Diversity Liaison Garcia. Communications Chair Fink. Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
The ayes have it, and the Collegiate Music Teachers Association Constitution is approved. All right, moving on to open forum. Item D, public comments. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Senate tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports, starting off with my own. I just have one thing. The Board of Regents meeting is this week in Aberdeen. I will be attending and will be presenting our general activity fee strategic plan for approval with Vice President for Finance and Budget, Holbeck. End of report. We'll move on to Vice President Benz.
No report.
Chief of Staff Sabo.
No report.
Finance Chair Peterson.
After our meeting last week, we officially emptied our special allocation fund, so I'm happy to announce that. And then, as you'll see, there's an amendment on our agenda for its first reading tonight. President Peterson and I met and went through the duties of the finance chair and the bylaws and just cleaned some things up, made some things a little more clear, and ensured that the duties align with the processes put in place elsewhere throughout the university, as well as aligning with the rest of our bylaws. And so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I strongly encourage you to please reach out to me before we vote next week. I will entertain any questions, comments, concerns, anything as such in the report.
Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Communications Chair Fink.
Yeah, so with the finalization of the election, I've been working on putting those results into the Student Association website. Unfortunately, with the update of SDSU website in the beginning of the semester, our election results did not save. Page was not there anymore. So I had to go back and find that page again, put it back, but it's okay now. And then, as all of you know, I competed in Little International's Lamb Lead this past weekend. Though it did not go as well as I wanted it to. It's always a great experience, so I hope some of you came out to watch it. End of report.
Let's give Gabby a hand for all her work with Martha. She did a great job representing us, so thank you, Gabby. It was a long week for her last week, so. All right, Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Yeah, the only thing I have is reminding everyone about filling out the two doodle polls that I sent out in the past week, the past weeks. The first one regarding about attending Nepal night, which is this Sunday. And the Nepal Club is asking us in joining them and singing the national anthem. And then the second doodle poll is to determine when we can meet with Tina from the Winthrop Student Success and Opportunity Center. She's been working on this project and she just wants some feedback from us. So, end of report.
We'll move on to ex officio reports, beginning with AFA.
This week, we're having a meeting at 5:30 on Thursday at the Lanes. We'll be paying for members to go bowling afterwards. End of report.
ASA.
Yeah, this last weekend was our 33rd annual Wachipi. It was a pretty great turnout. Indian taco sale was pretty good. I think it sold out by 2. Then I had to go get more meat and fry bread in the pouring rain. That wasn't so great, but overall, yeah, it's a pretty fun weekend and no real complaints to report.
BSA.
We are in the process of organizing an event to host the Step Africa group that's performing on campus on May 1st. And so we're doing that in partnership with the other organizations of the Office of
GSA.
All right, so we've collected all of our boxes from the clothing drive from all of the dorms on campus. We are still taking clothing donations as we did not take clothes last weekend due to the weather. I think you all know why. Half of my car was Jack Frost. Anyways, we did collect a lot, so much that we're not even sure if it's all gonna fit in one van. And this week we're gonna be going through the clothing and determining if Marty's Closet really wants to take all of it or just some of it. And we're gonna root out some of the other stuff. So if you want something, feel free to maybe stop by and pick out something. We might not, we probably won't. We'll probably just let you take it anyways. But that's about it. End of report.
IRC. LASA.
No report.
Unified Council.
Greek Week is coming up next week. Sunday is going to be chroma painting in the Union, starts at 10 a.m. Monday is also going to be chroma painting in the Union, starts at 5 p.m. Ends at 5 p.m. Tuesday is going to be the cornhole tournament. Starts at 7 p.m. and Pie President at the market stage at 11:15. Wednesday is Feast of Straying in the barn starting at 7 p.m. And Thursday is Greek God and Goddess, location at the Sylvan Green and starts at 7 p.m.
And to add to that, Will and I will be gone on Monday due to air band on Monday at 7. And then last week, our Greek Life had their VW Awards banquet, and we just recognized various chapters for their chapter life, philanthropies, and academic achievements, as well as individuals that have excelled in the past year. And then the last thing I have is Alpha Zeta Delta has their Pizza Ranch Tip Night on April 14th at 7 p.m. And a report.
UPC.
Alrighty, this Thursday, April 3rd, we're hosting our spa night from 5:30 to 8:30 in Jack's Place. We're bringing in a massage therapist so students can get about 10 or 15-minute back massages, I believe. We're also holding 2 stations where people can make their own body scrubs as well as shower steamers. And then we have officially hired our new board for the 25-26 school year. And in accordance with their training, they will be heading to the National Association for Campus Activities Conference to learn about how to successfully plan events and hopefully find some great acts that we can bring into campus for next year. End of report.
All right, we'll move on to advisory reports. Dr. Grieve.
No report.
Thank you. All right, committee reports. Do we have any committees I would like to report out tonight? Senator Gibney.
Academic affairs, so buckle in. University policy 2.8, the student opinion surveys and facility instruction policy has changed. It now includes all colleges and all departments as opposed to all colleges previously. It also allows the provost to require a survey of any course. He could not do that before, so now that is an additional power in his office. The rest is all grammatical. There will be an AI task force being created by Vice Provost Taylor with the new election results. The new executive team should, recommendation from the committee, should assign a liaison from the Senate. They would like undergraduate as well as graduate input on that. And I think we really want to be in that room if policy is going to be made, given how many collegiate students use generative AI. There are new certificates in the School of Design, new course request. There are substantive program modifications in the School of Health and Human Sciences, revised course requests in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, a new certificate for the STEM certificate. In the College of Natural Sciences, we have substantive program modifications for biochemistry and chemistry, substantive program modifications for agricultural and biosystems engineering, substantive program modifications for bioprocessing certificate, and a new undergraduate minor, financial counseling and planning in the Net School of Management and Economics. There's 5 more pages if you want me to continue, but those were all minor reports, but that's the gist of it. So a lot of stuff happening academic-wise on STSU's campus.
Other committee reports. Senator Peterson.
Yes, so the IT committee met last Wednesday, and we mainly went over the schedule for their plan for how they're going to revamp Inside State. They kind of just talked about this is going to happen in the spring, and then their main plan to get all of that revamped. And so it's kind of a long process. But other than that, that was pretty much all we discussed in that meeting.
Other committees I'd like to report out tonight. Senator Pulse.
UFSAC committee meeting. We met on March 20th, and we were able to get a tour of the facility in Yeager Hall and just see what that is looking like so far. And for simple servings, they have fully transitioned to the union now, and they're now open on Sunday nights, and breakfast through dinner on Mondays through Fridays. And then the ice cream machine is back in Larson's, and it broke like last week, but then now it's back again today, I saw. So yeah, end of report.
Other committee reports. Senator Stein.
International Affairs Committee met Thursday, March 20th. We heard from the president of the Papua New Guinea Club. They currently have 30 members, and they're working on encouraging new members and raising money and setting a good foundation for the club to continue. We also heard from the vice president of the Pakistan Club, and They expressed certain concerns in the graduate program with connections with professors and various things like that. So, end of report.
Other committees I would like to report out tonight? Right, seeing none, do we have any questions for any of the reports tonight? Senator Burnett.
Question for Senator Pulse. One of the girls in my Bible study was wondering why there are, apparently while she was in Larson's, there were trail cams going up. And she's wondering what this is for.
I actually have no idea, but I will ask at our next meeting and let you know.
She keeps breaking the ice cream machine.
Yeah.
Any other questions for any of the committees tonight? Vice President Benz.
I also have a question for Senator Pulse. On an earlier report from UFSAC, you had mentioned that at simple serving, students would be able to utilize a block portion of their meal plan to purchase simple serving. Is that still something that Sodexo is following through with?
As far as I know, that is still their plan. As for whether or not it has been implemented yet, I'm not sure. I will also follow up with them at the next meeting. That will be this Thursday.
Senator Peterson.
I also have a question for Senator Pulse. You said you toured the facility at Yeager. Can you tell us a little bit about your opinions on how that's going to work out next year?
As right now, it looks like just a giant empty room, bare bones, but I think it definitely has the space that is required to serve all the students, and it looks like it has potential to be a great facility. Like they're going to try to go with like a rustic ceilings to be kind of modern and to cut some costs, but yeah.
Thank you.
Senator Gibney.
I also have a question for Senator Paul. Use of trail cams in dining facilities?
No comment.
Additional questions for any of the reports tonight? Senator Shemek.
Just the answer to Hayden's question from earlier. From what I've heard, they're already allowing swipes for simple servings, and I've also heard that you're allowed to take that into Larson. That's just feedback I've heard from people I talked to, I guess.
Thank you. Other questions for reports tonight? Okay, a quick note while we're talking about committees, you all will continue to serve on your committees for the rest of this year. Something your predecessors did for you at the end of last year. It's just, we don't really have enough time left to completely do a committee shuffle. So although most of you will retire next week, or some of you will, I still ask that you continue serving on the committees you're on for the end of the school year. Thank you. All right. If we have no further questions, we will move on to unfinished business. Item A, Ordinance 24-1-0. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Ordinance 24-1-0. Title of ordinance reads, SDSU Students Association support on the establishment and revisitation of the Honors College ex officio position for the 2025-2026 term. Prime sponsor, Senator Shell. Sponsors include Vice President Benz, Chief of Staff Sabo, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Communications Chair Fink, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Senators Shemek, Peterson, Robbins, Sternhagen, Pulse, Markley, Hofer, Gibney, Brink, Tennant, Vasquez, Spear, Wessler, and Barnett.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Okay, just as a reminder, this is an ordinance, so the difference between this and a resolution is that this is binding through multiple Senate terms, so the actions listed in this will be binding for the next Senate term. With that, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Shell. Senator Shell, first right to debate.
Yeah, so after discussion with the task force team, a compromise was eventually reached, with end result being an ordinance that would establish or set the precedence for an ex officio position to be created for the Honors College. And then that would be for the next academic school year. And then 3 weeks prior to slate opening for president and vice president nominations, the task force team at that time, which will be the steering committee, will re-meet to kind of review what the access was, or what happened with the ex officio position at that time, and see if it's achieved, I guess, enough to become a full Senate position, and then that would be raised. If not, at that time, it'd still be continued as an ex officio position.
Further discussion on this ordinance? All right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett,
Aye.
Brink, Derek Comfort abstains, Duncan, Gibney, Hofer,
Aye.
Campson,
Aye.
Markley, Baudel, Peterson,
Aye.
Pulse,
Aye.
Robbins, Shell,
Aye.
Schmeck,
Aye.
Sierra,
Aye.
Spear, Stein. Sternhagen. Tennant. Vasquez. Westler.
Aye.
Diversity Liaison Garcia. Communications Chair Pink. Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and ordinance 24-1-0 is approved. I want to commend that entire task force work there. I had the pleasure of chairing it, and I want to say we had some very good discussions, and I think this was a really great common ground that was reached. So thank you all so much for that. We will move on to unfinished business. Item B, Amendment 24-3-A. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Amendment 24-3-A. Title of amendment reads, an amendment, right? Am I on the right one? Okay. Title of amendment reads, an amendment restructuring the diversity chair position to diversity liaison within the Students Association Senate and revising roles and responsibilities. Prime sponsors include Diversity Liaison Garcia and President Peterson. Sponsors include Vice President Benz, Chief of Staff Sabo, Finance Chair Peterson, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Gibney, Peterson, Robbins, Brink, Tennant, Spear, and Westler.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Second.
Diversity Liaison Garcia, first right to debate.
Yeah, so as some of you may know, or most of you, we've been trying to reconstruct this position so it's more successful. So a couple weeks ago, President Peterson and I met just to kind of review everything and reconstruct the diversity liaison position. We also met with the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Accessibility to kind of hear their concerns and also just their feedback about the position and what they would like to see as well. And then I also hope that you guys have had the chance to kind of look at this and see the updated expectations for the role. The most important thing that I would like to share is that we came to the conclusion of a minimum of 7 office hours for this position. And President Peterson and I are very confident that I think with the way that's structured now, I think it will be a good, strong foundation for it to be successful for the next applicant.
Further discussion on this amendment? Right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Derek Comfort abstains. Duncan.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Hofer.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Caudell.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Pulse. Robbins.
Aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Spear.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye.
Vasquez. Westler. Diversity Liaison Garcia. Communications Chair Fink.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and Amendment 24-3-A is approved. Moving on to unfinished business, item C, commemoration 24-10-C. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 24-10-C. Title of commemoration reads, the SDSU Students Association commemorates Mr. John Malin for his distinguished and extended service to the SDSU Army ROTC program. Prime sponsor includes Senator Gibney. Sponsors include President Peterson, Vice President Benz, Chief of Staff Sabo, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Communications Chair Fink, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Senators Sternhagen, Shell, Campson, Barnett, Peterson, Vasquez, Sierra, Hofer, Tennant, Schmeck, Derek Comfort, Spear, Westler, Pulse, and Duncan.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve this item? Senator Gibney. Senator Gibney, first right to debate.
I won't make y'all sit through a reading of it, but essentially, Mr. Malin's been the rock of the SDSU program for greater than a decade now, had a direct impact on commissioning over 100 officers, myself included. You can hear the emotion in my voice because we're losing him. And when he leaves, we want to give him a gift of sorts. There will be many, but I figured some senatorial recognition would be fair, and I'm very moved that 23 of us have sponsored this.
Further discussion on this commemoration? All right, seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Derek Comfort abstains. Duncan.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Hofer.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Caudell.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Pulse. Robbins. Shell.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Spear.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye. Vasquez.
Vasquez. Westler.
Aye.
Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Aye.
Communications Chair Fink.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Commemoration 24-10-C is approved. Moving on to unfinished business, item D, commemoration 24-11-C. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 24-11-C. Title of commemoration reads, The SDSU Students Association recognizes April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages our campus community to promote understanding, acceptance, and support for autistic individuals. Prime sponsor, Diversity Liaison Garcia. Sponsors include President Peterson, Vice President Bentz, Chief of Staff Sabo, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Spear, Peterson, Campson, Robbins, Vasquez, Sierra, Tennant, Schmeck, Wessler, Pulse, Duncan, and Gibney.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? It has been requested.
Commemoration 24-11-C. Title of commemoration reads, The SDSU Students Association recognizes April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages our campus community to promote understanding, acceptance, and support for autistic individuals. Whereas South Dakota State University values diversity, equity, and inclusion, striving to create a community where all individuals are supported and empowered to succeed. And whereas Autism Awareness Month traces its origins to the Autism Society's efforts in 1970 to increase public understanding and advocacy for individuals on the autism spectrum. And whereas in 2007, the United Nations General Assembly established April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day to promote global recognition and support for autistic individuals. And whereas Autism Awareness Month has evolved into a movement for acceptance and inclusion, with organizations like the Autism Society rebranding it as Autism Acceptance Month in 2021 to emphasize the importance of embracing neurodiversity. And whereas the Lucas P. Wintrode Autism Support Services program at SDSU is dedicated to fostering a campus culture that celebrates autism, values individual strengths, and provides resources to ensure student success. And whereas this program offers one-on-one coaching, social events, peer mentorship, and guidance to support autistic students in their academic and personal journeys. And whereas creating an inclusive campus means not only raising awareness, but also advocating for meaningful change that ensures accessibility, opportunity, and respect for all. Therefore, be it resolved that the SDSU Students Association recognizes April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages all students, faculty, and staff to engage in learning opportunities, support initiatives, and promote an environment of acceptance and inclusion for autistic individuals.
Can I entertain a motion to approve this commemoration? Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Second.
Diversity Liaison Garcia, first right to debate.
Yeah, last week I attended the Let's Talk About Autistic Culture community meeting held here, and it was hosted by OMA. And I just learned a lot about the Lucas P. Wintrode Autism Center. It's kind of new. And I also heard from SDSU students involved within the office and their experiences about navigating college and how much the office has helped them. And I just thought it was important to write this commemoration with April coming up here soon and just recognizing all diverse student communities, whether they're big or small, and just reminding everyone it's important to celebrate what makes SDSU great.
Further discussion on this commemoration? All right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Hanford abstains, Duncan, Gibney, Hofer, Campson, Markley, Podell, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Stein, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo, aye. Vice President Bentz.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Commemoration 24-11-C is approved. Moving on to new business, item A, Amendment 24-4-A. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Amendment 24-4-A. Title of amendment reads, An amendment revising the duties of the Finance Chairperson. Prime sponsor, Finance Chair Peterson. Sponsors include President Peterson, Chief of Staff Sabo, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Spear and Peterson.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, we'll vote on this amendment at our next meeting. Moving on to new business item B, you'll notice we do have award nominations open tonight. So we'll begin with our Senator of the Year award nominations. So this is open to any senators. You may nominate someone that you feel has done an exemplary job this year. You may not nominate myself or Vice President Benz. Senator Sternhagen.
I nominate Senator Pulse.
Would you like to give justification for your nomination?
Well,
You don't have to, but you can.
I would say just from tonight's meeting alone, Senator Pulse's representation on UFSAC has been nothing short of exemplary, as well as his representation on all of the other committees that he's on. I believe that he is well deserving of this award.
Thank you. Also, I forgot to say, all of these nominations will be voted on by the senators via Google form. So that's how we decide. Other nominations for Senator of the Year. Senator Markley.
I nominate Diversity Liaison Garcia for this award, and I believe that is because he has done more than enough and stepped up not only to the diversity liaison role, but has also helped serve his constituents and every other Senate body member, as well as new and old senators.
Thank you. Other nominations for the Senator of the Year award. Vice President Benz.
Madam President, I nominate Senator Matthew Shell for Senator of the Year. Senator Shell embodies what it means to be a true representative of his constituents. Constantly and consistently, Mr. Shell speaks for the students of the College of Natural Sciences, whether that be with fellow senators, faculty, or administration. He is respected among his peers for both his academic prowess and interpersonal relations. Mr. Shell is the only member of the Senate this term to write and serve as the primary sponsor of a resolution, amendment, and ordinance. His legislation included pertinent topics such as mental health awareness, campus safety and security, and ensuring every student voice is heard on the Senate. This speaks to his eagerness to achieve his goals on the Senate and accomplish the work of the corporation for which he was elected to serve. Mr. Shell remains true to his convictions and holds strong to his beliefs. Those traits are truly emblematic of a senator in the best sense of the word. I wholeheartedly nominate Senator Matthew Shell for this prestigious award.
Other nominations for the Senator of the Year award. Okay, we will close nominations for Senator of the Year award. We have Senator Pulse, Diversity Liaison Garcia, and Senator Shell. We will have, would you like to give details of the voting form?
I will be sending out a voting form after the meeting. You'll vote for one Senator of the Year and then one ex officio, which we're about to nominate. So that'll be attached to the minutes. So I'll have that as a separate link. Very tight turnaround. I need all of the votes by tomorrow at noon because I need to get these plaques made and back to me by Friday so that we can have them for Monday's meeting. So any votes given to me after noon will not count. So do it tonight so you don't forget about it. I'll send it out 5 minutes after the meeting is done. So
thank you. With that, we'll move on to nominations for ex officio of the year. Are there any nominations for the ex officio of the year award? Senator Vasquez.
I'd like to nominate Alyssa from UPC. She's been here for every meeting, whether it be really short or really long, and giving us updates on the big events going on at the union.
Thank you. Other nominations for ex officio of the year? Chief of Staff Sabo.
I would like to nominate B from GSA. I feel like you're always just here and providing all of your insight, and I can tell that you really love to be here. And sometimes you bring my box of nameplates up, and I just really appreciate that. So,
other nominations for the ex officio of the year award? All right, seeing none, we will send that out as well. Like Riley said, make sure to get your vote cast by noon tomorrow, please, please, please. So, also, a big thank you to all of our ex officios this year. We really appreciate your work. All right, with that, before we go on to our next item of new business, I'm actually going to skip down to topics for future discussion. Since we will be moving into executive session, that means voting members only. So let's go through our topics for future discussion first. Are there any topics for future discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements tonight? Senator Spear.
We just wanted to say on behalf of Wesley and I, thank you for a great race, specifically Hayden and Eleanor. But just for future reference, executive position teams are now open. There will be a Google form link in the minutes attached by Chief of Staff Sabo, and also you can always contact Wesley and I for future inquiry about this as well.
Senator Peterson.
I have two announcements tonight. First of all, I'm very excited to update that Jack's Cupboard emailed back to us with an inventory update, and there are only 7 cups left in Jack's Cupboard. So that means that in the last month, 43 cups have been used, which is just really awesome. My second announcement is that the Cafe Sprexy Council Egg Week is the week of Monday, April 24th through Friday, April 25th. Those dates aren't right. It's the week after Easter. And then the Egg Week banquet's going to be held at 5 p.m. on Wednesday night at Club 71. And there's also a whole lot of other fun activities going on. So if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Senator Sierra.
Other announcements tonight. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
I would just like to congratulate Senator Pulse on his appointment to the Upper Midwest Honors Board for the next year.
Other announcements. All right. With that, we are now going to go into executive session. So again, this will be voting members only. I do need a motion to enter executive session. Chief of Staff Sabo. Second. All those in favor of entering